Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror and welcome back to another video. How's it going today, guys? So I wanted to jump on here and make yet another video because there have been some big developments in the world of horror, and I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I want to cover multiple topics, in fact 2 topics. I wanted to knock both of these topics out in one video because they kind of happened at the same time. So okay, let's do that. And also they are John Carpenter related entities, so that is another reason I wanted to knock out both of these topics in one video. It's going to be Halloween Ends and The Thing Reboot, because we finally have some updates on that reboot coming. We finally have some chatter about a new Thing movie coming after more than 2 years, so let's talk about it here today. But let's start with Halloween Ends, because the big news coming out late this week has been that filming entirely, not just Jamie Lee Curtis like we found out a week or two ago, but filming entirely on Halloween Ends 2022 has completely wrapped. There was speculation over the last couple of days, and Ryan Turek confirmed it on, I believe it was his Twitter account, with a photo from the set, which shows a billboard of the rabbit in red, which is a nice Easter egg for Halloween 1978 fans. And it's bittersweet as a Halloween fan to think that it's over, because I have really enjoyed this trilogy. I know not everyone has. I understand that. I really enjoyed Halloween 2018. I think most Halloween fans did, but Halloween Kills, I think, replaced Halloween 6 as the most divisive in the Halloween franchise. So I get that a lot of people are on the fence about this final entry, but I have really enjoyed the first 2 movies. I am there for this entry. I'm really excited for this entry. I'm really excited to see what David Gordon Green meant when he said this one is going to be more contained. I'm nervous about the 4-year time jump, because I think the whole idea of potentially Michael getting caught and then breaking out again, I think that's a very stupid way to go about it. I think they have to do better than that. But I'm really excited to see what they got. Some of the set photos are interesting as well. I haven't really talked about them before, but a lot of people have pointed out that in these set photos, Laurie Strode has looked a lot more at peace with her life. You know, maybe Michael has been gone long enough from Haddonfield to where she was finally able to move on with her life. A lot of people have noticed in set photos that Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis are wearing a wedding ring. That has led people to believe maybe she married Frank. And the other thing that people have noticed is Allison. In a lot of these set photos, Allison has been wearing all black. And remember, this is not Halloween 2018 anymore. This is 4 years into the future. So they obviously would have already had the funeral for her mother. So maybe she really takes a dark turn, and maybe she kind of has a similar story to Laurie Strode in Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie. And, you know, she kind of rebels and is kind of, you know, screwed up. And I think that's interesting. I think that's an interesting idea, how Allison in Halloween 2018 was kind of this, you know, good student, good girl, and Michael, you know, didn't hang over her life, and she didn't really understand why it hung over Laurie's, and Laurie just didn't know how to explain why she could never get over it, to where in this one, Laurie's kind of finally moved on with her life, and it's Allison that can't get over the events of Halloween 2018. That's a very interesting role reversal kind of there. And finally, to end on this topic, it's just bittersweet. It's bittersweet that, you know, this is the last movie in this trilogy that we're going to be able to look forward to. Now, if it makes money, of course, if it makes money, you know, they're going to find some way to continue it. If it makes 150, 200, 250 million, heck, maybe even more than Halloween 2018, they're going to find some way to bring it back. But David Gordon Green probably won't be involved. Danny McBride and David Gordon Green have said they won't be involved. And so, yeah, it's just sad. It's been fun to have to look forward to these movies every, you know, year or two. And it's been fun, you know, keeping track of this and looking forward to the posters and looking forward to the trailers. And I'm sure we'll get another one down the line. You know me, I would really want to explore the anthology series again. I think the world is more ready for that than it was in 1982. But yeah, it is bittersweet to see this trilogy come to an end, because I've really enjoyed it. And on that, it's bittersweet because this is very likely going to be the last time we ever see Jamie Lee Curtis play Laurie Strode. You know, and she's even admitted that it's bittersweet because this is likely going to be the last time. Now, it's not a guarantee this is it for Jamie Lee Curtis's involvement in the franchise. She could come back in a similar role to what John Carpenter came back as. But as far as Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Laurie Strode, that's done. You know, that's very likely done. Now, again, that also doesn't mean we've seen the end of Laurie Strode. I mean, Scout Taylor Compton played Laurie Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Halloween from 2007 and 2009, respectively. But, yeah, it's probably the end of Jamie Lee as Laurie Strode. And by the way, I actually like Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, but I do prefer Jamie Lee at the end of the day. But, yeah, very bittersweet all the way around that you know, we'll probably get a Halloween film at some point down the line again. Of course we will, but it's not a guarantee we get one in 2023, 2024, 2030, 2035. We don't know, and we'll get that next Halloween film after this. And I'm a little bit sad about that, but I'm excited to see this. We're only a few months away now from marketing really heating up. If we go by the timeline of the first two movies, somewhere in June or July, we're going to get that trailer. We're probably going to get that poster, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to sit here and talk about it with you all. But okay, those are my thoughts on Halloween Ends, wrapping filming. Now let's get to The Thing Reboot. And if you guys don't know, The Thing Reboot is what kicked off my channel. It is literally the first thing I talked about in my first video. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982, is my favorite horror movie of all time. It is. I love that movie. And I've been really looking forward to this reboot ever since it was officially announced in August of 2020. The problem is, ever since that kind of official announcement, we have gotten virtually no updates on this movie. And that has finally started to change a little bit because comicbook.com, I think it was 3 weeks to a month ago, reached out to John Carpenter and apparently said, look, it's been about almost 2 years. We've gotten virtually no updates on this movie. Is it still moving forward? Are there any updates you can share with us? And John Carpenter essentially said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, I will have the quote on your screen, but John Carpenter said, look, there are updates, but that I can't talk about at the moment. And when addressing whether he would be involved in this movie, he said never say never. So, look, maybe I'm reading too much into things, but the fact that there are updates, and considering how blunt John Carpenter usually is, I think it is significant that he didn't just say, no, it's off. This is done. The fact that there are updates means to me this movie is finally starting to move along a little bit, even if it's slow. And it's sad, and the timing of when they officially announced a Thing reboot, it makes me think that they were planning to do a 40-year anniversary type of thing, because 2022 is the 40th anniversary of when The Thing 1982 released. But by the time they announced it, obviously the pandemic hit, and then it slowed Hollywood to a grinding halt. But the fact that there are updates, and he didn't just come out and say it's dead, I think that is significant, and things are maybe finally starting to move forward, and hopefully we'll start to hear some more real updates soon. But the other things I wanted to talk about is he gave a series of interviews, one with THQ, the other one with Fandom, are the two interviews I'm going to talk about today. And I think it was to promote the 4K release of Escape from LA. And in both of these interviews, he was asked about The Thing. And in the THQ interview, he was asked, you know, did you ever want to do a Thing sequel? Did you ever want to do a continuation or a sequel to your 1982 movie, The Thing? And he said, yes, I've thought about doing a continuation of, a sequel or a continuation of The Thing, and that quote is going to be on your screen. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he said, but I don't know. There are a lot of things in this world I don't know. So I found that interesting, and I found that interesting because it makes me wonder, would The Thing sequel be the thing to get him behind the director's chair? Would that finally be the movie to get him behind the director's chair? And I'm very open to The Thing sequel if it got him behind the director's chair. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is what I'm not open about. Is he was asked in a later interview, I believe this one was by Fandom, I looked it up earlier, he brought up the idea of bringing back Kurt Russell as McReady. And he said, the thing about that ending is McReady and Childs could still both be alive. And he once again said there was more story to tell, or at least he felt, and that McReady and Childs could still be alive. And he was asked, have you spoken to Kurt Russell over the years about maybe coming back for a sequel? And he said, yes, on and off. He essentially said, on and off, I have spoken to him about it. And he was asked, well, would Kurt Russell be interested? And he said, I don't know, maybe. Okay, so let's unpack that. I'm open to The Thing sequel, but I'm really very much opposed, and this may be controversial, but I am very much opposed to the idea of bringing Kurt Russell back to portray McReady. And I'm opposed to that idea for two reasons. One, I said it in my Texas Chainsaw Massacre review video. I'm already getting tired of the formula of making a direct sequel to the original and bringing back a legacy character. And I know that formula exploded just in 2018, and so it's still relatively new, but it's already being overused so much. We already saw in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 that, that can feel very forced and unnecessary, and I'm already tired of it. But on the bigger issue of The Thing, and don't get me wrong, I love Kurt Russell in that movie. I do, and I love the character of McReady. And deep down there is a part of me that would love to see him come back as McReady all these years later. And how cool that would be. But one of the great things I love about The Thing is the ambiguity of that ending and how not all of your questions get answered. And there's a reason why 40 years later, we are still talking about that ending, and we are still debating, was either of them the thing? Was neither of them the thing? Was it McReady who was the thing? Was it Childs who was the thing? The fact that you don't get all your questions answered and you kind of have to come up with your own theories and interpretations, I like that. And when you bring McReady back, or McReady and Childs back, you start answering questions that I never wanted answers to, and you ruin the ambiguity of that ending. And I think The Thing 1982 has one of the great ambiguous endings in horror movie history, if not movie history, and I don't want that ruined. I really like that you don't get all your questions answered, and you can come up with your own conclusions, and you can speculate, and you can debate, and it's fun. I don't want that ruined for me. And as cool as it would be to see Kurt Russell as McReady, and I love Kurt Russell, especially in The Thing 1982, I'm just not willing to sacrifice the ambiguity of that ending to bring him back. So I'm sorry if you're a big fan. If you're a big fan of the idea, that's okay. I am not. I'm just really not. I'm not that open-minded to it. I'm not that open-minded of bringing Childs back either. So I don't want either one of them back. I would just rather start fresh. I think there are ways you can make a sequel without bringing those characters back and without ruining that ending. Without ruining the ambiguity of that ending and without answering those questions that I don't want answers to. That's why I'm open-minded to a sequel, because I'm sure there are ways you can do a sequel without, ruining that ending. But I'm not going to ever be on board with bringing Kurt Russell back if it means ruining that ending, which it very likely would. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Comment below your thoughts on today's video and your thoughts on Halloween Ends, wrapping, filming, and the potential updates on The Thing Reboot. And I will see you guys later. Take care.